Hello, everyone. It's Steve Garvin, and I am here with Carin Channing. Carin is the author of 365 Days of Doodling, and which you've got right in front of you. Awesome. And Carin and I actually met through her Facebook group, Doodle Outreach, and one of the things that Carin does is provides prompts for people to access different things through doodling. No artistic ability required, but as an artist, I enjoy that aspect too. So welcome to the session, Carin, and it's good to see you, Leslie, as well.
Glad to be here.
So Carin, I know I'm curious about your background. What were you doing before you got into the doodling realm?
Well, in the few years before doodling, because it's been like many lifetimes in this lifetime, as I'm sure everybody here can relate, I was working as a social worker in a psychiatric hospital. And would that I had all of these things then. Mm-hmm. You know, from family sessions to just my group sessions with clients, even admissions. I could see, I don't know if they would have let me get away with it, but so I was working as a social worker, and actually the role that I was playing, I was really, really bored and restless. And I wrote on a piece of paper one day these qualities that I wanted in my life. I didn't know how I was going to get them, but I was like, I need to change. These are the qualities that I want. And it was like being around creative people and not setting an alarm clock and being in beautiful places and being free of my office at the hospital. And the very next day, I totally unexpectedly got fired.
Wow.
And maybe like a month later, I taught my first doodling class because I had already started during that maybe last year or so that I was working there.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
So what inspired you to get into doodling? Have you always doodled, or is this new for you?
Only minorly, like, you know, little hearts and flowers like a lot of us do in margins and signing letters. But, and I used to also really love tracing my hand. When I journal, I used to trace my hand a lot and make little symbols and that sort of thing in there. But no, I thought I couldn't draw. When I tried to make pictures when I was a kid, they looked horrible to me. And I didn't have anybody around me who said that that doesn't matter or gave me just a few simple pointers to help shape that. Mm-hmm. And I think also somewhere pretty early, I figured out that I could write. So, and I played a little music. So I just went that way, and visual arts just like slipped away from me. And then it must have been maybe a year or so before I left my social work job. I was invited by a friend, Melissa McLean of Melissa Ann Colors, to do a 30-day doodle challenge where it was a doodle a day, no other rules. And super quickly, I started to, like within the first day, but for sure within a few days, I just saw that there was this different physical release that was also like embodied instead of only like head stuff. I mean, I love to write, and there's a magic of pen on paper, as I know you all can relate to. But this was something different. This was taking like the images that were always coming to mind and the sensations and like bringing them out my arm somehow. And because I wasn't trying to make them look good, I just had total freedom. I was like in.
Cool. Your story sounds so much like mine. It's crazy. So my mom, who's 84, frequently, and she's kind of at that state where she asks the same question over and over again anyway. But she is always asking me, I don't remember you doodling. I don't remember you drawing. When did you start drawing? And honestly, part of that is because I stopped drawing for decades. And my dad was an artist, and I remember as a kid, I'd look at his drawings, and he stopped too. He didn't get back into drawing and art until after he'd retired. But I would look at his stuff that he had done like when he was in college, and it was just frightening to me how much better it was than what I could do. And I also, my best friend was an artist in kind of Norman Rockwell type of style. And he was just he was extremely celebrated for his ability. And I looked at my stuff, and I took my art classes and so forth and just kind of moped along. And unfortunately, I think most art classes actually demotivate artists rather than motivating artists. And anyway, so kind of a long journey, but it came along. And when I left corporate a few years ago, I returned to my passion for arts, and it was just just kind of this unfolding, this flowering, if you will, of myself, and just an awesome experience.
Well, Steve, let's just for a second touch on your dad's skill and your friend's skill, and just like point for a second to, what am I thinking? Like, I got to talk to a bunch of school children recently, and I was asking them about, had they made decisions about themselves that they couldn't make art? And they said similar to what you said. They had observed other people who were naturals at it. But you're talking about like precision or maybe skill that you could, when you look at the masters, paintings by the masters, what they can do with light, you can't even understand how this happened. That's for me, when I'm looking, especially like oil painting, I cannot comprehend that there's like any kind of separate line happening there. I don't understand it. But I haven't ever even like tried to learn. But there are folks who have sort of a natural skill like that, or can like take a picture and look at it and replicate it really closely. Like, is that the sort of thing you're pointing to?
Yes, it is. Yeah, I mean, and the other thing was for me is that I had a certain idea of what good art was. And part of that was one, the influence from my dad and my friend. But another part was, among other things, when I did my undergrad, I actually studied art history for a while and almost got a degree in it. But chose not to, because I meant that I'd have to go on and get my PhD and so forth, which I really wasn't excited about doing. So when I think of art, I think of like Rembrandt or Caravaggio or, Da Vinci or whoever. And I was like, my style is not like that at all. And I went through a whole process of like unfolding what my voice it was, what my expression was. And I finally, I don't really even remember the trajectory, but I got into doing more cartooning type of stuff, which fits my personality more so anyway. But I'm at home now, and I studied. I'm always one that studies the heck out of things anyway, and so I read I don't know how many different books on how to different perspectives and light and the golden ratios and blah blah blah. But where I found home for me was with cartooning. But that's all about me, and really what we're talking about is doodling, which is something totally different.
It is, in my mind, it's like it is, but it's not. Like, obviously there's some kind of related web with all of it, right? So I think I'm really protective of the doodles because I want them to be included in all art. Like, even going and seeing the masters, there's a recognition in me that we just are these individual vessels, that something unique is coming out of every one of us. So in my work, we do tons of smiley faces and stick figures. And I love thinking about how no two stick figures even are going to be alike. It's so subtle like that, and so exciting and so expressive, how simple little lines. So I love to go and look at fine art, don't get me wrong, for sure. It fueled me, but I get excited when people are willing to let their own voices start to come out. As it sounds, I know yours did, and as mine finally started to, once I started to play with this a little bit, the more and more I can let go of it, it doesn't have to look right or realistic or good even. And sometimes they do, doodles that I make might look really funky, but it doesn't matter. It's a doodle, it's just expressing. But the more I do that, the more my own unique aesthetic is starting to come through, and has been coming through every year. So now sometimes you can look at one of my doodles and go, that's Carin Channing. Like, the voice comes, and people I've had as doodling students, it's the same thing. Once we start doing these things regularly for a while, I start to see these really cool have one friend who, I'm not going to call her out by name, but she's such a cool artist, and she has so much criticism for her pictures, and it kind of drives me nuts because I love how she uses colors, and she uses these really beautiful pastels, and she makes these really wonderful images that we just pick doodle prompts for, and so they're things from her heart and her life, and I always want her to show them, and she's real shy about it, but she's an example of somebody that I've been able to watch her visual voice start to come out. Really cool.
I feel like we need to, I'm feeling the urge to start doodling, but I want to ask one more question before I kind of open the floor for that. And that is, what benefits are there from doodling, besides just creating something?
Yeah, it's funny. When I saw that picture, or saw that question on your list of questions, my first thought was, well, see for yourself, everybody. So I'm going to say that up front because it is the case. One of the things I've learned about every bit of work that I've done over the years and have developed who I am as I don't even have a rest in creativity encourager. That's my job title, is experiential. And so having said that, relaxation, stress relief, authenticity, knowing yourself better, knowing other people in your life better in a way that's so different from if we're only talking from our heads and not trying to make some picture or having some other way of getting in our bodies and expressing our emotion like that, we're missing a big part of the other being. And so watching me and the people I know or other people getting together and sharing from that place of making doodles is really, really profound. So deep connection. You're off your screens for a little while if you doodle on paper, which is super beneficial. Memory retention, comfort trying new things. The people who are willing to doodle and make messes tend to be more comfortable in those areas too. Innovation, obviously, things you haven't thought of before, etc.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, I'll tell you something. Not just doodling, but you guys all know Brene Brown, who does the she does all kinds of research. She's a social worker also. Mm-hmm. I heard her talking about research that points to, I can't remember which side of it, but it was something like if you don't have a creative outlet, you're much more likely to be depressed. Mm-hmm. And I say that much more likely to perpetrate violence on someone else, which I think is interesting. Yeah. Go sometime and try to find where that was, but she talked about it in an interview that you can find on YouTube with Chase Jarvis and Brene Brown.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Really, really good. And also on there, she said something that kind of made my head explode. I was so happy. Through doodling and all the other creative outlets that I had finally come to see that there really was this self-loving was starting to come through, and I felt like it was really, oh, Janet, hi. She might not be able to hear me now, but yay. There was a self-loving that was coming through by having spaces to be exactly who I was in the moment and to share myself authentically in the moment. And I hadn't thought that creativity was going to lead me there, but I had just started to teach a class called Self-Loving Through Creativity. And in this interview with Chase Jarvis, Brene says that she actually, through research, found the same thing, and it kind of pissed her off. There was people who felt like they deserved to have loving communities were the ones who had them, but it was the self-love that brought the people to the place to say, I deserve to have a loving community. So it was this ripple. It was with creative outlets leading to self-love, leading to self-acceptance, leading to stronger communities. Ripples like that. I'm
going to mute everybody else just for a sec, just because there's a lot of background noise. And you can unmute yourself by just going down to the, well, there's a couple icons. If you guys aren't familiar with Zoom, there's some icons down on the bottom left-hand side. Yeah, I don't mean, and Carin, that is an awesome thing to share and to realize. For me, and I'm actually writing a book called Leadership Lessons from the Playground, and it's all about, kind of that genius side of ourselves that comes from like when we were little kids and so forth. And I think one of the best ways to get into that state is through art. And just one of the things that I do with people is I have them do kindergarten drawings. And so it's like, forget about, trying to be an artist or whatever, but just like let go and kind of answer. And we'll get into this in just a minute, but answer a question by just doodling, so what's, I don't know, how do I deal with this problem? And instead of, analyzing the heck out of it, actually just drawing it out and seeing what's there, because it opens you to so much more than what's otherwise there.
Oh yeah, big time. I love it that you're doing that. I think it's really brilliant. I think that simple creativity in this really, really basic, simple way, in that kindergarten way, can bust open so many of the struggles that we have in our culture, because we're so grown up supposedly, and that's such a rigid point of view. I mean, governments, businesses, families, all of this, we have like these real, like, we're adults and we know exactly how everything is, and therefore, but yeah, when you get to be the child, everything's loosens back up again, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And there's this whole synergy between like our adult self and our child self, and when we're fully integrated, that's when we're at our healthiest. And you could probably say a whole lot more about that than I can. But
well, I just want to make one real quick comment on that I love it that you just said that, because I'm also working on a book right now, and I was writing some this morning, and toward the end of whatever I was just playing with, I was seeing how the more supportive I am of this little girl, and most of us as children, whether even if our parents were super doting and let us explore, there's somebody in our life at some point squished on us a little bit. But the more I can loosen that and allow her to come forth as an adult, the wise woman is arising at the same time. It's really powerful, actually. I'm seeing like there's this deep groundedness and this whimsy that are together, and it's exciting.
Yeah, I had an experience like that within the last month or two. I don't know if I've said this on this conference today, but I come from a corporate finance background, which is very, intellectual and very much in your head, and not a whole lot of room for that playful self. And then I turned to art, and what happened within the last month or so is I actually started to make peace with that more intellectual side, and to start bringing business back into the work that I'm doing. And I was really resistant about doing that, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to squelch and, kind of put a lid on my childhood self. But I really experienced more like what you're saying, in that there's a synergy, and 1 + 1 equals more than 2 in this instance. It's just kind of, it opens up all kinds of possibilities that are really cool. So I'm having fun with that, but I'm also, and it's just a really cool experience. So
I'm with you.
Let's see. Does anybody else have any questions that they'd like to ask Carin? And you can go into, I think there's a way to raise your hand, or you can just physically raise your hand and ask a question. And if not, then I'll turn the time over to Carin to kind of lead us through some doodling.
Yeah, obviously feel free to jump in if a question arises, but I love the idea to play. So I want to do 365 days of doodling.
Yeah, no.
Oh, let's see. Janet's got a question.
Oh, go ahead, Janet.
Hi, I don't have a question, but I just kind of wanted to dovetail into what you guys were saying about how that creativity flows. And recently, in the last couple of weeks, I've been working on just really being at ease and relaxing, and reconnecting with like that inner child that we all have, and doing things that feel good and play. And what I found was, it, like you said, Carin, like the rigidness kind of goes away, and it opens up in an expansive, like, it's almost like you then you adopt a mindset of like unlimitedness or expansion, or like, it's just this freedom and everything kind of, it's like it just grows bigger and bigger. I don't know how to say it. It's just a feeling. But
Get some tickets.
alignment, and that's where creativity flows. That's where inspiration comes through, when we're at that place of feeling this expansiveness and connectivity and just joy. Because when you're like a child and playing, you feel good, at ease, you're in joy. So I just there's just not a lot of people. There's so much resistance against resting and feeling good and not having effort so much.
Right.
I don't know, doodling and being kid-like, that just all right now for me at least. It's like it's become my truth. It's like, you know what? I've got it wrong all this time, and everybody around me, they're like got it wrong too, and my parents got it wrong. Like,
Yeah.
it's like a wake-up call. Like if you look at nature, the tree doesn't effort to grow. Like the plants don't effort to like I don't know about crops growing, and I don't like it. All happens on its own. Like just let it be. And my job is to feel good and to feel happy, so I can let it be whatever that is for me, and just kind of let be the vehicle or the instrument to let inspiration flow through.
Yes.
Doodling, creativity kind of creates the space for that. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One of the things that I believe and have seen is that creativity, we talk about abundance a lot in our kind of culture. And when you think of abundance, creativity is really the key to it, because you can always create more. When I've done like these little things where I'm working on logos or like these kind of little tile things, and I had to do like 100 of them. And the more that I did, actually, the more creative that I got in doing it. It wasn't like I was using it up. It was actually opening it up to more. And it's kind of like nature, too. I mean, it's like when nature is free to grow, then it does. It's just really kind of cool.
Can I mention something too?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, Steve, you were talking in the beginning about, looking at other people's artwork and looking at your dad's artwork and stuff. But isn't that true in life and outside of our creativity, that any creativeness that we have, even in our businesses or in life, many times it's squelched because we're looking at what other people are doing, and in artwork, it's the same way. And so I think about with kids, they don't look at their stick figures and go, oh, I like their stick figure bigger than mine, I'm not going to do this anymore.
Absolutely.
So it's like, I feel that constriction, even in my artwork, when I look at the stuff that I do, I like, well, I don't even know if I call it artwork, I call it crafts, but it's art, and stuff. I wouldn't even put that, because I was looking at what people can do. But the same thing in my life, it's like I feel a lot of times that I constrict myself and I don't allow myself to really let loose with ideas and things without second guessing myself, third guessing, fourth guessing, fifth guessing, without just letting that flow. So I'm really excited about this, because a lot of what you're saying just really resonates. Just that freedom,
Absolutely.
and that desire to want to be childlike. That's where I light up.
Yeah, and I think it's awesome.
Leslie, I used to feel like you, where the comparison would always kind of rear its evil head.
Yeah.
And how I've coped with it is, one, I knew that made me really unhappy. So when I whatever I did, creative wise or business wise, when I put it in the conscious, I'm not doing it for anybody else other than like the divine or my higher self.
Yeah.
That I'm working to please only that of my higher self or the divine.
Yeah.
It really soothed or comforted me, and not feeling like I had to compare or I had to be better than, because that's really all you're working towards is.
That's spot on with what I've been thinking lately. So thank you.
Yeah.
Good confirmation.
Very cool. Well, Carin, have you got some prompts for us?
I do, and I want to talk about the kids' book for a second because we haven't.
Sure, yeah, please.
It's very on topic. So here's the kids' book. It's called Doodle Book Junior, and it's 101 creative prompts for kids. And when I was writing the prompts for this book, this just came out in August. It's really cute. It has big pages, and you can put the prompts are on one side, and there's this big thing you can fill in over there. And when I was writing the prompts for this, part of my inspiration was actually from another friend of ours who has a website called Kid
She
Can
bad.
Do.
So I'm missing another pair of braces. I wonder what that's at. She probably played with it.
And she's
Yeah, it's fine. I need to maybe the TV thing. I gotta look for it.
there we go. And she, a friend of ours has a website, Kid Can Doodle, and she puts out weekly doodling challenges. And a lot of times I'll go and take her doodle challenge. And because it's not the same doodle outreach, Carin Channing, introspective kind of prompts like I have in my first book, it opens up a different part of my brain. I love my book. Don't get me wrong. I'm in love with my book. And when I take someone else's prompt, it opens up a different part of my brain that I literally feel part of my head like expanding when I make these pictures that don't have anything to do with my own deal. So when I made the kids book, I wanted to have more of that. It still has some introspection, and it has, you know, I don't know, just things about their life. Doodle a scene from a book you read, or doodle what you would do if you found out you don't have.
Can you show us an inside page?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like that. So this page says, doodle a scene from a story you like to make up.
Oh, awesome.
On there. It's really fun. It's super fun. So when I was making the book, I actually wanted to add grown-ups in the title, but we didn't want to be like too confusing for whatever the market was supposed to be. But genuinely, I was hoping that grown-ups would also use this book. I use it, and it's really fun, just because of what we were saying, that it's gonna have me go into a little bit even more playful zone than I have been with the first book. So if we have time to do more than one, we'll do one from each of these. And then this is the first book, 365 Days of Doodling. And I'm now on, I started at the beginning of the year, and today is the 342nd day of the year.
Wow.
And I have totally fallen in love with my book. I mean, I was really happy when we first made it. I was proud of me and my publisher, Shelly Arenas from Intentional Publishing. We just make really sweet products we're learning. But using it every day has just become this wonderful romance for me. And some nights I'll just super quick, I won't even sit down. Oops, I didn't do my doodle today. And I'll be like, I'm gonna stand up and do this. And I'll just do it really quick. Because in the front of the book, it says, a simple and satisfying doodle can be made in 5 seconds. And that has been the absolute touchstone for me keeping up with this every single day. And often once I start, then I sit down and want to play with it a little bit longer, but I don't have to. I really made it doable. So it's like a diary. It's such a slice of the moment, because next year's book won't look anything like what this year's book, or there'll be some similarities, but you know, who you're thinking about and what you're spending your time doing, it's all going to show up. Yesterday or a couple days ago, the prompt was make your own version of a famous piece of art. And so I thought about Van Gogh's bedrooms, which I love so much, those paintings. And so I made a doodle of the bedroom that I'm in right now. And I'm nomadic, I move a lot. And so this is a slice of this moment that this bedroom is now in my book. And I just love it. So give me a time check, Steve, and I'll pick how much doodling we can do.
I think we've got about maybe 15 minutes.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go a different route than picking one out of both for now, because I don't want to have to rush us, but it's really sweet. This is Junior. Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. Here's a good way to get out of I'm in heady mode and I want to start being in creative mode. This particular prompt I recommend at the beginnings of meetings to help people just kind of get everybody on the same page of where you are and what you're feeling. I've seen some pretty interesting things happen in groups with this. Okay, so super simple, you guys. We're going to make a warm-up emoji. Everybody knows what an emoji is?
Emoji?
Yeah, like a smiley face type thing. And what you're going to do is you're going to make it of just checking with yourself, just how do I feel right now? And then make a little simple thing like that.
So basically just kind of a representation of how we're feeling right now. Is that?
Yeah, like if you were going to push like one of those emoji stickers on your phone or something like that, but you make your own.
Okay. Okay.
That's how you are right now. In my classes, I call these emojis because I also do emojis at the end. It's fun.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
I heard you say you want Louis Vuitton back. That's me ignoring you. I heard you quite fine.
I don't know what's going on over there, but I kind of like it. I felt like they're having a good time. Okay, you guys. So also, like, especially if you take longer classes with me, the deal is always you never have to share, but I always want to see. So I wonder if a couple people would be willing to show your emoji and tell us about. You want to show, Leslie?
Sure. I'm excited.
Oh, nice.
This feels good to play. And just before this, I was going to work on some painting, so that's kind of neat.
Cool. I love the super curly hair, too.
Not mine. I don't know where it came from.
That's awesome.
It was just fun doing this.
I'll show mine. I have no shame. So,
Cute.
so what I was thinking is, what's just fascinating to me. I love this topic, this subject, and kind of doing this type of work. And so I've got this kind of like little kid that's like looking over the wall to see what's up there. And I don't really know, but there's like cookies in the image somehow too.
Hold it up, Steve.
So there's no cookies in this, but I think that's kind of what he's looking at. Is like, oh my gosh, it's chocolate chip cookies.
I couldn't see the whole picture. Hold it up again.
Oh,
there we go. There we go. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's so cute. Awesome. Very awesome. Fabulous. Okay. Anybody else want to show?
Can you see that? That's me. Feeling peaceful. It says Om.
Oh, yes.
Awesome.
That's so sweet. That's super sweet, Janet. She looks like you. My picture kind of reminded me of what Steve was saying. I just made a picture of thinking about, I'm happy, and also just thinking about how much I like to talk about this stuff.
Mm.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I love how super simple it is too.
Yeah. Yeah, and I actually feel a little bit different from how I did a minute ago. I don't know about anybody else, but I actually do feel like a little bit more grounded. I found happy seeing and kind of excited seeing Leslie's here, Steve. And then when Janet shared hers, I just felt at the opening like, oh, I also can feel that too. So it's really cool. Okay, in the interest of time, I'm going to keep rolling then. So I'm excited. I looked real quick in the book to see what the prompt for today is. So by the way, with this book, hashtag start any day. It's not a calendar. It just has dates, and I'll show you what the inside pages of this look like. I'll show you today's. But I just happen to know it's the 342nd day of the year. And this is what the pages look like. They have the prompt at the top, and there's just some empty space there. So, and actually when I first got my book, for the first 90 days, I was still doodling in other notebooks. I just couldn't quite fathom that I could color in this. And then I did it. I was watching another friend who was doing hers all the time, and I was like, okay, Carin, you can do this. And it was so liberating. I was like, oh my God, I get to color in the book. Like, to a whole other playful level. So today's prompt, I love this because it reminds me of what we were all touching on at the beginning of the call. It says, doodle something that you've mastered. Doodle something that you've mastered. So simple and easy. Stick figures work. Mine goes to many places. Let's see. Sometimes I put some words in my doodle. I'm quoting myself here. So just while you guys are finishing that, I'll let you know that in the book we define doodle as a simple, spontaneous, creative expression. So it can really be anything. I played karaoke with some friends recently for a friend's birthday, and when we left there, I realized, oh my gosh, that was totally doodling. Like, it didn't matter how we sounded, we were fully expressive, there was a lot of action going on. I was like, cool, doodling. So simple and spontaneous creative expression are good for us. All right, you masters, can we see some doodles?
So I really resisted this idea when it popped into my head, but one of the things I actually like about business and kind of the finance side of things is that there really is a way to master it. Like, you know, when you, and I was having this conversation with somebody else recently about one of the things that's cool about math is that there is a way to figure out the answer. But there's also like the creative side of me is like, math! You can't do Excel as your what you've mastered because that's just not cool enough. But it is what it is.
My doodle around math would look very different.
Steve, will you hold that picture up just one more time now that you've described your experience? I want to see it one more time. Yeah, because there's a smiley face on there. That was it. When you put it down and talked about it, you were a little bit like, blah, but look, you feel good about that. It's fun for you. At least in your doodle.
I call it fun, but it's kind of like that weird, those two minds we were talking about earlier, that like there's the creative, like spontaneous fun side, and there's like the more mastery side that's like really masterful. And I do take pride in the fact that, I mean, I've done some amazing things with Excel. I mean, but it wasn't like the same type of fun. It's like what you were talking about earlier about, yeah, like having different parts of your head that you refilled things differently. And so this is like more the intellectual side, but so the sensation is different.
I can understand that. I'm also kind of excited because I loved math when I was in school, for the most part. As long as I had good teachers who could tell me how to get where I wanted to go, I found it really satisfying, and I was pretty good at it. Eventually, there became some things that I wasn't as good at, and I wasn't very good at geometry, but algebra and like trig, I think even that stuff, once I got into the groove of it, I quite liked it. But I haven't thought about that in ages. So hearing you talk about it is reminding me, like, wow, I really found some satisfaction in that. And I can almost feel like a slight creativity in there for myself, even, because it wasn't advanced, but maybe there's like an expansion that comes because there is an answer, because there is a way to get to it. There's like a little relief and everything lining up or something like that. Anyhow, so I thank you for that. I don't know if math will come back into my world or not. It would probably benefit me if it did in interesting ways. Cool. Do we have time to see some more?
Here's mine. That was a hard question for me to answer, and for some reason I came up with making banana bread.
Oh, wow.
My kids always ask for banana bread, and I've baked it so many times, I think I've mastered banana bread.
I can smell it.
I'm getting hungry. Man. I love banana bread.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
What's going on with your teeth in there?
That's my kids biting it.
Oh. I have a feeling. Yeah.
Right.
That is so awesome. That is so great. What about you, Leslie? What do you have?
So I first I was trying to think about, what I've mastered. So I was married 21 years and divorced and remarried, love of my life, and to be able to open my heart again. And he was kind of in the same position, for him to be able to open his heart. And then I have 4 grown kids, and just to see how cohesive we all are. As a mom and as a wife, I think it's probably one of the top things on my list, just to see. And also how much my kids, I have 2 boys and 2 girls, how much they love each other and have each other's backs, no matter where they're at in their lives. So that's pretty cool.
Beautiful.
Are you so excited to show your sweetie what you just made? I hope you are. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he's going to love that.
Yeah.
It's nothing like having a muse. Yeah.
Yep.
Super sweet. Super sweet. I'll show you guys my picture real quick. I just realized I made it in kind of light color, so I don't know how well you'll be able to see it. But it's here I am, and here we all are on Zoom, and here's some people like in the room with me, and it says, okay, let's do a warm-up emoji. Like, I've mastered the doodle class.
Nice.
Cool.
Definitely. I know how to engage people on the doodle, and I can easily say it comes naturally anymore. Yay.
So Carin, how do we get your book?
So there's 2 different ways. You can, well, more than 2, but the 2 simple ones. You can easily go on Amazon.
Okay.
If you put my name, Carin Channing, Channing, into Amazon, both the 365 Days and the Doodle Book Junior will pop up.
Okay.
And then also, if you want signed copies, if you go to doodleoutreach.com and you go to the shop there's just another way to get signed copies straight from me that I will personalize, and I will also send you, if you pick a number, there's a little space to type in a number. I'll make a doodle of whatever that number is. And
that's awesome.
That's the other thing. So those are the 2 easiest ways: Doodle Outreach and Amazon.
All right, great, thank you.
Yeah. And also, you guys, so Steve mentioned it, the Doodle Outreach Facebook group. Everybody's always welcome in there. I love to see what people are making, and we have such a range of artists in there. It's such a thrill. There's one woman who puts spectacular pictures. She's been posting a lot this last week, and her pictures are crazy beautiful and really deep. But she doesn't take herself so seriously that she's like, I can't post this, other people won't like it. Because she doesn't differentiate, which excites me. Stick figures and her magnificent masterpieces, she's really seeing that it's all the same flow. But we have a friend who does a lot of henna tattoos, and she's posting lots of those. And
one of the things for me, Sharing it has been as much a process and kind of transformative as doing the art itself, because in just sharing whatever I'm doing and not like getting attached to whether it's good enough or whatever, it gives me voice, not just for what I'm doodling, but also for other things. So it's just very liberating.
That's awesome. It sounds like you're just getting like this stretch opportunity, this reveal opportunity that's affecting you in positive other ways. That's so cool, Steve. I think I can relate to that. I hadn't thought about it before, but I think I'm with you on that. I don't know. As a creative person, every single time I make something, I want to show it. And like this age of social media is like made for me because I love attention like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Poems, things I write, all of that. Yeah. Yeah. What else?
Go ahead.
I don't have anything, so go ahead, Leslie.
Just the process of doing this, just to kind of reiterate in my brain, the process of doing this is just really to just relax, step into who you are. There's no analyzing and all that kind of stuff. It's just doing it.
Right.
I love how you said that, because I am so not into analyzing. Like, I come from a world of analyzing, mental health therapy, and it isn't to say that sometimes insights aren't helpful, and sometimes we do get some insights from our doodles, for sure. Yeah. But I really like allowing things to be exactly as they are in the moment and letting the energies flow that need to flow around that. Like, one of the things I love to say is you can't argue with a doodle. You know?
Love that.
You know, and if somebody tries to give me advice or something like that based on what they see on my picture, I probably, delete their comment or something, because I'm just not into it.
That's great. Resistance. When you're doodling, there's no resistance that comes up. There's no, you don't have any negative feeling. So.
Yeah, it's so true. And if you are noticing a little bit of holding back, because sometimes some of the questions I ask can be a little heady, I just recommend to people that they switch to their non-dominant hand and stop thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I sometimes journal with my non-dominant hand for that reason too, because that brings another kind of dimension to it.
Yeah, it's super fun. Do you guys want a to-go prompt? I can give you something else from the book that you can take with you.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Should I give you one from the kids' book?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Leslie, will you pick a number from 1 to 101?
53.
Okay. Oh, it's so nice. It's such a nice one. The prompt is, and by the way, I recommend this prompt for when you're getting in bed at the end of the day. I recommend it for families. I love the kind of quieting down of this prompt. The question is, doodle something you enjoyed about today.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, it's really sweet. Really, really sweet. And I know, a lot of us make gratitude lists, and every once in a while I'll start to put little pictures in with it. And it just takes it to a whole other level for me, like little stick-figure symbols going along the side of my gratitude list.
I love that.
It really opens up something.
That's great.
Yeah, so just if anybody hearing this or anybody here ever just needs some guidance on how to fold this stuff into your world, you can definitely call on me, because it goes everywhere. I mean, everywhere. I haven't found a setting yet that it doesn't work, and I don't think I'm going to. I don't know what I mean by work, but have some benefit, have some positive effect. I'm confident in it.
So for team building, this would be wonderful for team building?
Mm-hmm.
Huge. So big.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
Carin,
big.
did you connect with Journey School, Krista Niven?
No.
She's in Austin. I think she was on your list to connect with as a daycare preschool. I personally, I know her, and my kids go to the daycare here. So if you have a chance, she's very open. She's very sweet. She would really, really enjoy something like this.
Is it little kids?
She does kindergarten and lower, kindergarten and lower and younger.
Yeah. And so what I just want to say about that is much lower than kindergarten for what I'm putting out starts to get like a little bit vague, and it's not my forte, which isn't to say that we can't still do it, but I just noticed that when they're kind of under reading age, the kind of questions that I'm asking are a little conceptual, but any age is going to play. Dan, I think I might have given her a call. I'll talk to you about that later. I think that I might have left her a message, but I might have been real vague about it. So.
Okay. Cool.
This is great.
I want to see everybody's drawings now.
Oh, I didn't do anything. I was savoring.
You're savoring. Okay.
I was savoring to do it.
What's that?
Did you make one?
I did.
Let us see it.
Okay. So it's kind of a campfire. Oh, it is a campfire. But I don't know if you guys are like into camping and just kind of like that space where you're just kind of a community and just like you're isolated from like all the garbage around and so forth, and just this experience in doing this and kind of doodling together. In fact, you can see like this person up here is showing their picture or whatever, the
Awesome.
But
I'm kind of insane for that picture. Could you please send me a copy of that, because I want to use it?
Sure. You want me to sign it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
That's a beautiful description. That's so great. One of the things that I've noticed about the work that I do, and I know you got a taste of this last time when we met, Steve, is that it is so experiential, like I was saying before, but all it takes is getting people in the door. Once we're together, I mean, every once in a while somebody will slip away, but it's often somebody who like is doing like fine art and doesn't think they can get down in the dirt with the rest of us. Like I've had a few of those. Fine. But for the most part, it's like kind of 95% of people, once they're in the door and starting to play, the campfire does arise among us. It's really special, whether it's a small group or a bigger group, and I'm excited that came up for you.
Awesome.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Carin. This was really cool.
It's great.
So.
Thank you so much.
And it's great to have you, Leslie, along. And Janet, where are you in Seattle?
I live in a suburb called Bothell.
I'm down in Tacoma, so
Oh, you're south end.
yeah.
Boy, and I'm in New England, so I'm way on the other side.
And I'm calling from Texas. I'm in Austin.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And I just want to say again to you guys that we didn't talk about it much today, but it's so restful to doodle, and that's the other big wing of my passion is creativity encouragement and also resting encouragement. So just as time goes on, or maybe Steve and I could do another call sometime for our group on just resting helpfulness as well.
Absolutely.
Sounds great.
Happy to be of use in those ways.
That'd be great.
Well, I'm always happy to do these because I love doing this. So thank you.
Thank you.
And I know, well, wow. And time slips by so fast. I can't believe it. But thank you, Carin, and thank you, Janet and Leslie, for being here. And for those who watch this later on, I hope you actually do the prompts and kind of do your own doodling thing. It really is liberating, and it's really fun. And there's just so much more available within us that we don't access so much of the time. So over and out for now.
Thank you so much, Steve, and thank you, everybody. So good to see you, Janet and Leslie. So nice to meet you. And
nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, Janet.
Lots of love.
Bye.
See you again.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care, everybody. Okay, bye-bye.